Welcome to the 34th episode of the Nordic Sports News Podcast, the world's first daily cross-country ski and biathlon podcast with the latest news from around the globe. Today, let's talk about the freezing cold that will hit Östersund Biathlon World Cup this Thursday, Sjusjøen race report and results, and Dario Cologna skipping Lillehammer World Cup. Temperatures between minus 15 degrees Celsius and minus 20 degrees Celsius are expected this Thursday in Östersund. The sprints will therefore be disputed in the polar cold that will have to be managed. On Sunday, the women's skating pursuit of the cross-country skiing World Cup in Ruka had to be postponed several times due to the polar temperatures reigning over northern Europe. This Thursday afternoon in Sweden, the World Cup biathletes competing in the Östersund sprints should experience the same feeling of freezing cold. According to the weather forecast, it will be minus 18 degrees Celsius at 13:45 at the women's sprint and minus 17 degrees Celsius when the men start at 16:30. The limit set is minus 20 degrees Celsius, said Håkan Blidberg, head of communications for the Swedish Ski Association, at a press conference. From minus 15 degrees Celsius, the cooling effect of the wind is taken into account. As the wind will probably not be the game this Thursday, the competitions are not threatened. We are not there yet, still believes Håkan Blidberg. However, the cold will put the body and mind of biathletes to the test, especially when shooting when you do not want to have frozen fingers. It will be a good training before the Olympic Games for which everyone will be able to find the right gloves and the right settings on the rifle on this occasion, notes Johannes Lucas, head coach of the Swedes, in the columns of Sport Blade. Now, let's check the race report and results from the second round of the IBU Cup in Sjusjøen, Norway. At home, Philippe Fjeld Andersen won the super sprint. The only French qualifier in the final of this super sprint, Emilien Claude had started his race perfectly by signing no misses on the first shooting stop. Half the peloton did the same, leaving the French in this big leading group. The second shooting would settle the situation, the French with one miss and emerging 15 seconds from the leader Lucas Fröcher. After the third shooting, they were only two in the lead. The German duo Justus Strello and David Zobel were in the lead with 10 seconds ahead of Alexander Fjeld Andersen and 16 on the French. As often in biathlon, the last shooting stop was going to be decisive, especially on a format as dense as the super sprint. Unfortunately, the three-time junior world champion cracked in a final decisive shot. The two Germans missed and it was time for the two Norwegians Arlend Vintergaard and Philippe Fjeld Andersen to take advantage. Decidedly faster on skis, the latter won the bet ahead of his compatriot. Justus Strello was content with the bronze medal. With two misses on his last shooting stop, Emilien Claude finished 12th, 43 seconds from the win. Seventh of the day, Lucas Fröcher retains the lead in the general classification of the IBU Cup. The German is indeed taking advantage of the absences of Vasily Tomshin, Alexei Pavarnitsin or Johannes Kuhn, who will take part in the World Cup in Östersund. In the women's race, Linda Zinger won the super sprint. Along with Austrian Katharina Innerhofer, Camille Bennett was in charge of the race after a clear first shot. But the French went to pay the price of a second complicated shooting stop, 3 misses. In front, the Shevchenko-Innerhofer duo took the lead for the last shot. The Austrian lost her footing completely with 5 misses while the Italian Linda Zinger and the Ukrainian Irina Petrenko returned to the game for the win. A success that was to be sealed in the last lap for the benefit of the young Italian who, at just 19 years old, won her first victory on the IBU Cup circuit. 6 times medalist at the Youth Worlds, the native of San Candido and daughter of the world champion Andrea Zingel, was ahead of Irina Petrenko and Anastasia Shevchenko in the sprint. 17th place was enough for Germany's Franziska Hildebrand to take the lead in the IBU Cup overall standings today. After her double podium in Idre, the biathlete who will celebrate her 35th birthday next March, is neck and neck with Anastasia Shevchenko, third of the day. Now, to wrap up our news today, Dario Cologna will skip Lillehammer World Cup. The Swiss star Dario Cologna, who has been competing for a few weeks in the last winter of his cross-country career, will not be in Lillehammer this weekend for the second stage of the World Cup. 24th in the classic individual in Ruka last Saturday, he prefers to rest before playing, in 10 days or so, the last Davos World Cup of his life as a professional cross-country skier. This decision was taken in collaboration with the coaching staff and the medical team, said Swiss Ski in its press release. The Swiss team for the Lillehammer Cross-Country Skiing World Cup: Nadine Fondrich, Lorien van der Graaf, Erwan Kaiser, Jonas Baumann, Roman Forger, Vita Clay, Candide Pralong, and Jason Rush. And that's all for today, folks. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Spotify and Instagram. Just type Nordic Sports News on these platforms and access our content. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow in the next episode. Information credits to Nordic Mag, Sport Blate.